What if everything America stood for almost vanished? Freedom, justice, democracy itself hanging by a thread. Most people think the fall of democracy is something that happens in faraway nations. But history tells another story. There were moments, real, forgotten moments, when America's democracy nearly collapsed from within. Let's rewind to the year 1861. The United States was divided not by politics, but by blood. When 11 southern states seceded, America tore itself apart. The Civil War wasn't just a battle between North and South. It was a war to decide if democracy itself could survive when citizens turned against one another. Abraham Lincoln once said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." He was right. Because for 4 long years, the American experiment almost ended on its own battlefield. Fast forward to 1933. The Great Depression had crushed hope. Banks collapsed. Families starved. And in the shadows, a secret plan began to form. A plan history almost buried forever. It was called the Business Plot. A group of powerful businessmen allegedly tried to overthrow President Franklin D. Roosevelt, to replace him with a dictator modeled after Mussolini and Hitler. But their plan was stopped by one man, Major General Smedley Butler, a Marine hero who blew the whistle before it was too late. He stood up, alone, and told Congress what he'd heard. No one was ever tried. But democracy survived, by inches. Then came 1974, the year trust itself broke. President Richard Nixon, caught in the Watergate scandal, was accused of using power to spy, silence, and control. The country stood still as investigators exposed corruption at the highest level. For a moment, it seemed the White House had turned against its own people. But instead of collapsing, something remarkable happened. America's system, its checks and balances, worked. Congress, the press, the courts, they held power accountable. And when Nixon resigned, the message was clear. No one, not even the president, is above the law. But history doesn't sleep. Even in the 21st century, the fight for democracy continues. From disputed elections to violent protests, the cracks reappear, reminding us that freedom isn't permanent. It's a living idea, fragile, breakable, and in need of defenders. The truth is, democracy was never guaranteed. It's something generations fought to protect. And something we could lose again, if we ever stop paying attention. Because the greatest threat to freedom is forgetting how close we came to losing it. This was one of the forgotten moments that nearly ended America's democracy. But it also proved something powerful. That the people's voice, when united, can still rewrite history.